More FPL. Today it's time for my Gameweek 2 preview. In this video, I'll briefly review my Gameweek 1 score and provide an update for my mini-league before moving on to discuss the top 3 transfers in for each position so far this game week. I'll finish by outlining my specific plans for this game week and beyond. So let's briefly review my Gameweek 1 score. I had possibly my best ever opening game week, and maybe even my best ever single game week, with 111 points in total. Captain Mo Salah and Mikel Antonio got a goal and 2 assists, Bruno Fernandes got a hat-trick, and Said Benrahma got a goal and an assist. Benrahma was a very late entry into my Game Week 1 squad, 30 minutes before deadline. I wasn't 100% sold on Rafinha, and when I heard that he made the Brazil squad, meaning he could miss Game Week 4 and maybe more, that was the final push I needed. I probably would have gone to Emiliano Buendia if I was sure he would start, but settled on Benrahma, which worked out well. Elsewhere, Mason Greenwood and Danny Ings scored, and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Konstantinos Tsimikas got clean sheets. My only non-returners were Robert Sanchez, Luke Shaw, who also got booked, and Ivan Toney. Now let's take a look at my mini-league. I lead the way, but it's very tight at the top. I'm closely followed by Edem Ocon on 107, who used their triple captainship on Bruno. Experts say that you should save this chip for a double game week, but I doubt I will beat that 20-point haul when I use it later in the season. Third is Gareth Geddes on 102. It was a strong week all round, with the top 7 all recording 3-figure scores. Now let's look at the top 3 transfers in so far this week, in each position. So let's talk about goalkeepers, starting with Kasper Schmeichel of Leicester. He was the second highest scoring goalkeeper of the game week, and Leicester have decent upcoming fixtures, but I don't think I'll be bringing him in. It seems people are replacing Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa, but despite their defeat, they do still have a couple of good upcoming fixtures. Next is David Raya Martin of Brentford. They did keep a clean sheet, but were perhaps fortunate that Arsenal had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alexandre Lacazette missing, as they missed a host of chances. They do have decent fixtures coming up, but I'm not sure I'll be using a transfer to bring him in. Last is Ben Foster of Watford. This one confuses me, given he didn't start and isn't expected to next week. Perhaps people started with 2 playing goalkeepers and wanted to save money for other transfers. Next, let's talk about defenders, starting with Tsimikas, who's already gone up in price. I started with him, but I don't think I'll be using a transfer to bring him in now, even with Liverpool's fixtures. He'll probably only start the next 1 or 2 games at most before Andrew Robertson's return from injury. Next is Marcos Alonso of Chelsea. They did have a great start, but Crystal Palace at home was their easiest fixture of the first 6. Whenever he plays, he has a huge attacking threat, but once first choice Ben Chilwell returns, he'll likely drop out or at least be a big rotation risk. Last is Ethan Pinnock of Brentford. As mentioned previously, they were perhaps fortunate to keep a clean sheet in Game Week 1. Pinnock only got 1 goal and 1 assist in the whole of last season, so you likely can't expect an attacking return too often either. Next, let's talk about midfielders, starting with Paul Pogba of Man United, who's already gone up in price. Pogba had an incredible game, getting 4 assists, and should have also scored from Greenwood's pass. The main question around Pogba is how long he'll continue to play on the left of the front 3, with Jadon Sancho and Anthony Martial coming off the bench, and Edinson Cavani due back soon. He's much less effective as a fantasy asset when played as part of the double pivot. Next is Bruno, who's already gone up in price. From my perspective, I don't understand the decision not to start with him. It's his first hat-trick, but everyone knew before the season he's capable of big scores. It's fine to realise a mistake and then fix it, but equally, it's fine to stick to your original plan if you feel that will still get you the most points in the long run. Last is Salah, and I'd echo a lot of the same comments for him. Of course they're good options, particularly with the upcoming fixtures that Liverpool and Man United have. Finally, let's talk about strikers, starting with Richarlison of Everton, who's already gone up in price. I wasn't actually expecting him to start game week 1, given his participation in the Olympics, but he did and got a goal and an assist. Before he was an injury doubt, who also ended up playing game week 1, I was going to start with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and I still think he'll be the best Everton attacking option, given he's playing centrally and Richarlison is out on the left. Next is Romelu Lukaku of Chelsea. It's looking likely he'll play game week 2, but as mentioned previously, their upcoming fixtures are tough. So I'll be monitoring him for now, and he'll likely be in my thoughts from game week 7, around which time I may wildcard. Last is Antonio. I started with him because I thought he was the best option at 7.5 million. That hasn't changed and I'd advocate bringing him in. West Ham have decent fixtures and he's also shown he can score against anyone anyway. So now let's talk about my plans for this game week. There's no major issues with my squad, with everyone starting apart from Luke Steele, who is back up to Robert Sanchez for Brighton and my team. Will I be making any transfers? I don't see any need for a transfer this week. I have $1 million in the bank, so could swap Tony for Wilson, but I'm happy to give the Brentford man more time, with them winning and playing well as a team. I don't see the value in making a goalkeeping transfer, and the rest of my squad is looking good. Rolling the transfer will leave me with 2 threes next week, which could prove useful. What about starting 11 and captaincy? Tsimikas has a better fixture than Ben White and Luke Ayling, so he'll start for me again. Ayling will be first bench this time, with Arsenal playing Chelsea. Captaincy is a bigger decision than I thought it would be, with Bruno's heroics, but I think I'll still be backing Salah at home to Burnley, especially with the Anfield crowd behind him. Do I have any longer term plans? Not much beyond monitoring Tony's form. I'll also be checking Sancho, Martial and Cavani's minutes this week. I'm pretty sure Greenwood will start this week, and maybe the next couple, but once he becomes a rotation risk, it'll be time to move him on. I'm also expecting Tsimikas to drop out the team after the international break, but he can probably just sit on my bench at 4 million without the need for a transfer. I'm not too worried about White or Ayling at this point, but I'll be monitoring their team's form. Longer term, West Ham assets will need to be reassessed once the Europa League group stage starts, mid-September. So that's me set up for the game week, barring any last-minute injury news. Good luck for the game week, everyone. Who knows, we might get into triple figures again. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please add your own thoughts and follow-up questions in the comments, and I'll try to get through as many as I can. If you made it to the very end, please destroy the like and subscribe buttons and notification bell to get more FPL.